Hi everybody, my name is Barry Spilchuk. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I just wanted to introduce myself and share with you a little bit about what it takes to be a professional speaker. I am the founder of the Canadian Professional Speaker School, which we just started. I am also the co-author of this amazing book, A Cup of Chicken Soup for the Soul. I'm the first Canadian to write a chicken soup book with Jack and Mark. This book was number 7 in the series, and it went on to sell 580,000 copies around the world. We feel very blessed to that, and it obviously helped my speaking career. I'm also founder of the You're My Hero book series and been a professional speaker for 21 years. Today's message is to share with you, obviously I'd love for you to come to our Canadian Professional Speaker School someday, but whether you do or whether you don't, this message is for you, just a quick 10-step thing to think about when you're giving a speech in front of an audience of more than one, of one or more. The biggest audience that I have spoken to is over 7,000 when I shared the stage with Dr. Phil and Loretta LaRoche. I've spoken to over 2,000 people many, many times. I've spoken to as little as 3. And your job as a speaker is to keep it interesting. And it's all about them, and it's not about you. So many speakers get caught up in, oh my, how do I look? You know what? I don't care. I mean, this is honest to goodness truth. I was doing a live seminar one day where they were actually shooting it and broadcasting it live on the internet, and just for fun, to break the energy, we broke into dance, and we were doing the Pointer Sisters and all this kind of stuff. And I'm a bit of a big guy, as you can see, and I was in the process of losing weight, and what we were doing was dancing, and I had a belt on but no suspenders, and all of a sudden one lady came along and she said, "Lift my kid up," and I did, and I held her up like a Lion King, and as I did that, my belt sort of, my stomach sucked in and my belt just fell down, and my pants fell all the way down to my ankles, and it was like, everybody's laughing, and I'm going, what are you going to do? I mean, you just play with the cards that you're dealt. You got to know how to respond when things like that happen, and thank good I was wearing my man panties that day, and they were black, so everybody was like, oh my, it wasn't that bad. There's still a few people in trauma and recovery and therapy because of it, but I'm okay, I'm doing fine. And the thing is when you're standing in front of people, like, the old ways don't always work. Remember they said, imagine your audience in their underwear. Well, I don't know about you, but if I imagined that Jennifer Aniston was sitting there in her underwear, I would be frozen. I couldn't speak. I'm sorry. And it's like, it's not going to happen. For you, it might be Brad Pitt. Who knows? But that might be a way to go, but that's just trying to trick yourself in a way that's still going to keep you out of your message. And the way to get back into your message is to focus on the audience. It has nothing to do with you. You just happen to be the delivery piece that it's coming through. You're like a television where the messages are being broadcast through you. So here's a quick 10 quick steps on how to remember on how to give a great speech. And just spell out the words, I'm creative. I''M CREATIVE. I'm creative. Okay? The first I stands for interesting. You have to make it interesting. Have you ever gone to a speech and this person talks at the same level and they never change their voice and it's always the same and they never make a move, but if they do, it's a gesture that they learned at some speaking club, and it's robotic, and you just, after 3 seconds, you're going, let me out of here. So you got to make it interesting, and the way to make it interesting is to make it about them. It's not about you. You're going to hear me say that a lot. Okay? The M in the I'm creative is my message. My message. My meaning you. My message. What is it that propelled them to hire you or invite you in to give a showcase seminar for them? What is it that made them say, hey, let's pick on Sally or Joseph? Why? Why did they pick you? They want to hear from you. So even though it's all about them, they want to hear about them through you. There's a reason that they picked you. So you're going to insert your own stories. And it's nice when you're a brand new speaker, or maybe you're a seasoned speaker, but you keep telling other people's stories. The way to accelerate through the speaking ranks. And I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, because for 21 years I've been doing this, and I've made so many mistakes, but I've done a lot of good things too. I mean, when Canada hosted the World Volunteer Conference a few years ago, there were 2,700 people from 93 countries, and I was honored to be the closing speaker for the entire event. And when it was done, I got a standing ovation, and I was honored. It was one of the coolest things that ever happened in my speaking career. that's pretty cool when you're invited to represent your country and do that. Why? Because they saw me the year before and they said, we like this guy because he's kind of goofy, he tells the truth, and there's no pretentiousness. It's just my message of struggle, from struggle to stardom or whatever it is. It's from, oh my gosh, I've gone from here to here. And guess what? I'm not a millionaire. I've never made $1 million in a year. The most I ever made in a year was $234,000. But that's because I was out there and I was doing it and I was giving my message and people liked it. Okay, I never learned how to monetize it by selling products at the back of the room. As far as I was nervous about doing that. I'm doing that now, but back then I was way nervous about doing that. And I thought, well, if I did this, you won't love me. So I left a lot of money on the table. Not doing that anymore. So now we've got I am creative. Now what's the C? The C is simply this. It's just a conversation. Here I am with you right now. We're just having a conversation. I'd be having this conversation with you over a cup of coffee. And guess what? If there's 2,000 people in the audience, then 2,000 people are eavesdropping. But I've been very blessed to say that people have come up to me and said, wow, there were so many people in the room, I felt like you were talking just to me. And the reason that is because it's just a conversation. When I was early in my speaking career, what I would do is I would look over people's heads because I didn't dare make eye contact because I was afraid. But now I'm always making eye contact because I want to talk to that one person. And hopefully the way I bring in my message is that everybody's invited to listen and they don't feel like they're eavesdropping. Okay, the R in I'm creative is relationship. You want to build a relationship with these people. And how do you do that? Well, just like in any relationship, to build a solid relationship, you tell a little bit about yourself and then you ask them about them. So you tell, oh, maybe I wrote this great book, A Cup of Chicken Soup for the Soul, and stuff. And then you could say to the audience, how many of you have ever had a book inside of you? And then all of a sudden the audience is involved. Well, if you've had that book and you're wondering, when am I ever going to do this book? Here's what you can do. So it's just like building any relationship. You talk a little bit about yourself, you talk a little bit about them, and the way to talk about them is asking questions. So we've got the I, M, C, R, and the E. The E is probably, well, they're all important, but it's a huge one. The end in mind. Okay, Stephen Covey made that phrase famous, but it came from the Bible. Begin with the end in mind. It's really simple as this. Why did they hire you? What purpose are you there for? Are you there to elevate their spirits? Are you there to educate them in a technological breakthrough? Why are you there? Okay, I have one question that I ask when a bureau or a company hires me. What would you like to be different when we're done? And you know what? Most companies, they don't have an answer to that right away. Well, I just want you to speak at the conference and let them have a good time. Oh, okay, fine. So I know I'm allowed to put a little more humor than usual in there. I really need them to know that our team is kind of drifting apart and I need them to come back together again. So I have to do a few more exercises that are maybe a little more intimate than usual. And rather than just speaking like a talking head from the stage, I'm going to do it in such a way that they get to participate as well. So again, what is the end in mind? And then if there's a follow-up question to that, it's, the first question is begin with the end in mind, and then why are you hiring me? What would you like to be different when we're done? And then, is there anything preventing that from happening now?